and Patricia step in as voting people if we have anything to vote on. So, our first item is to approve the September 21st minutes as presented. So I'm assuming everybody's already read those. So do I have a motion to approve the minutes? Anybody? David? Do I have a second?
Second.
David? David? Dee Dee? All righty. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. All right. Let me move over here. So the second item is to review the 2024 potential meeting dates and take appropriate action. So one thing I would just ask generally, are there any preferences to have the meetings any other day of the week as opposed to Thursdays? I don't think we're locked into any particular day, are we? So I just thought I'd throw that out there if somebody has.
I don't like it on Thursday. I kind of scheduled everything around the third Thursday,
All right.
when I do it, odd.
And just a question, so we typically don't meet in July, we typically don't meet in December, that,
Typically, right.
okay?
All right, and we can, if something comes up, we can change the meeting dates on a month to month, basis if we need to. We've done that from time to time. Usually it's like if the city council all of a sudden has something they want to rush through and they need our input, then sometimes we may move up a meeting, but it only happens maybe once a year. So I'm assuming everybody's good with these dates and we'll leave it as Thursday. I don't think this is something we need to vote on, do we?
Well, it's an actionable item,
It's an
so,
actionable item?
yeah.
Okay, so, okay, do I hear a motion to keep our meetings on Thursdays as listed here?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, David, reverse? Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So let's move on to next item, C3, discuss park audits. So this is in case anybody's not sure, this is the form that we'll be using. And I would suggest that we probably get on this and get this done by the next meeting. Get that out of the way.
That was sent out to us electronically, correct?
Yes, and I got yours, David's, yes, no, yes,
Yeah.
yeah, yes, got yours.
And I've got some copies here, if
Mhm.
anybody needs some that, can't print them at home, or if you need some copies. And also this, which lists all the parks in the city, if you want to know where the locations are. So I
was just impressed, I did my 3 parks and it's just, the city's got great parks all over the place, pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Impressive.
some of them are old, but they're all well maintained, so I think a lot of the purpose of this audit is just to see if something needs to be updated or even repurposed. I think that's kind of what we're looking for also, because one thing we need to be attuned to is sometimes the demographics change in the city, or it's people's, like pickleballs, things they like to do differently. Then it's up to us to repurpose a park. Barney Park is a prime example of that.
Mhm.
Which used to be a football field. And then Montgomery Park, which is sat over here empty for a long time. And I think we're gonna add pickleball courts to that eventually also.
It's great.
All right, so,
Next week, and I was looking
Yeah.
forward to it.
all right.
Yeah, thank y'all. We've got a really good crew that maintains all the parks, but it always helps to have a fresh set of eyes. So we really appreciate you taking time and doing that. I know you gotta drive around and get your 6-page form for each park. So thank you for doing that. Appreciate it.
For this beautiful weather, it's the joy.
It's not terrible.
Yeah, it changes, yeah.
We won't ask you to do it in August.
Maybe. So any other discussion, or anybody have any questions or things they want, so everybody knows which parks they're assigned to? Okay. Huh? All righty. So let's move on to discuss Christmas and the branch events. So we're always been responsible for Santa's house. And so, Maria, it's my understanding it's gonna be in a different location this year.
Yeah, the tree lighting this year, they're redoing the event. They're not calling it a tree lighting. I left my little Christmas page in the office, I guess. It's gonna be a Christmas celebration and, it will be at the historical park this year. And for those who've been around long enough know that we used to have our event out at the historical park. So it's not new territory for us hosting a Christmas event out there. We will have a lot of the same elements. We'll have the low-level fireworks. We'll have the drone show. We're gonna do something new this year. It's called Dasher Silent Disco. We'll have that. And so we'll still have Santa, but because we're not using the historical park for a long period of time for decorations like we've done for the Tour of Lights, we're not doing the Santa house out there this year. We're not going to bring the Santa house out. So Santa will be in the gazebo. We're getting some really nice backdrops and photo ops. So if you're familiar with the park, there's that really pretty gazebo. It's well lit. It's a nice focal point right off the pathway. So that's where Santa will be. So that will be the Santa house this year. And the Grove, where we had tree lighting the last few years, will still have a lot of lights. It will still be decked out. We'll have photo ops out there. So people can still go enjoy that too for pictures and just kind of getting in the Christmas spirit. But we won't have events programmed out there because of the construction on Denton Drive that's going to be starting soon.
So typically, I think our hours that we work that is from like 5 PM to 9 PM.
Correct. That's right.
The Santa's house doesn't start till what, like 6 o'clock or 5:30 or something? Or is it
I'll
gonna
have
start
to-
at 5?
I think Santa, let me double check on the
All right.
website. I can look that up while y'all are
But
talking.
typically, I think, if I remember right, I just made some notes here, 1, 2, 3. Probably 6 people to work it at a time. So how it's been set up in the past for you new people, and we'll kind of, I think we'll make this, the gazebo work is there's, they'll go up some stairs or a ramp and then come out. And generally we have somebody at the exit to help them out if they need it. A lot of times there'll be strollers. So we'll have somebody at the entrance to take their stroller around front while they're in the Santa's house. And then last year we discovered we're probably gonna need somebody in the Santa house to be the team photographer, because everybody will hand off
Yeah.
their cell phones to you to take pictures. And then 2 or 3 people to monitor the line, because the line will probably get pretty long, and they'll have those metal gates, and we'll just have people stationed, kind of to chit chat, talk to them, just kind of keep them, interested while they're waiting in line. And that typically probably 6 people. So I'm thinking probably we can wait till our November meeting. Yes, Margaret.
And as they come out, we have the donation box, so we always have somebody there.
Yes, well, okay, we've learned last year, start doing donation box on the before that way we get their money before they run out.
We do
And-
have somebody at that.
Yeah.
How much you said on the time.
So I'm thinking, unless anybody objects, we can wait till next meeting to kind of assign things. Now, I mean, we like everybody to attend, but you may have other conflicts or stuff, so don't feel bad if you can't do it, because there's some of us that'll stay there the whole time from 5 to 9. So it's yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun, and we'll kind of open Santa's house, and then they'll close it down during the tree lighting, and then we'll open it back up again.
Or the drone show this year.
Yeah, I found my Christmas page. Santa will be available for visits from 5:15 to 8:45. And then we'll have the low-level fireworks starting at 9. So the event is from 5 to 9 or shortly after 9 when the fireworks are over. And we're not gonna have the standard tree lighting, the big 1, 2, 3, and we light the tree.
Yeah.
We're not gonna have that this year, but we'll shut the Santa visits down before the fireworks show. So, and we'll make sure we're communicating with y'all. But like Bob said, so if you can be there, great. Even if you can be there for a little while and not the whole time, that's okay too. We can figure that out. So.
So the fireworks start at 9 PM?
Mhm.
Yeah, so we'll be done. So I guess they may not, so we'll probably go nonstop from 5:15 to 8:45, in the past, they closed it down during the tree lighting, but we'll be
Mhm.
continuous and then we'll be done. And then they'll have the tree or the fireworks. And just to let you know, the money that we collect, and we collect $500 or $600, goes to the Summer Sunshine Scholarship Fund, which is, gives scholarships for kids for summer sunshine. So and we get a lot of contributions. So we just have to kind of stay on top of that. So I'll just wait till November meeting. We'll figure out when we can do it. All righty. Moving on to C5.
Can I?
I'm sorry.
Just real quickly, for next weekend, the Halloween in the park,
Yeah,
will we get, those of us that volunteer, will we get some kind of direction about, like, I just said, I work whatever shift, whenever, and I'm expecting someone to tell me. what
Yes,
we need to use.
let me follow up with Jessica. I think she's the one, Jessica or one of her team members who work here are probably one of the ones who reached out about that. So let me follow up and I will get that information out.
Okay.
yeah, she sent out the original email.
Yes.
Yeah, reminder of when is where.
Yeah, definitely. So thank y'all for signing up. I know not everybody can, and we appreciate you people doing what they can when they can.
Like I'm doing the game on that day,
Okay,
4:30 to 7:30.
okay, perfect. I'll get you,
Now, is that what you volunteered for? Is
So
that,
volunteers,
I volunteered for the marketing booth for the same time.
but if you got confirmation that that's.
I think I did.
She told me there's plenty of signups.
What's the
That's
name?
what I heard.
What was the name, lady?
Jessica,
Jessica,
Yeah, I got an email.
yeah.
Yeah,
recently,
I think so.
a confirmation. Okay, I'll find out. I'll get that out.
I told her I would help with the setup,
Okay,
which wasn't a specific shift,
Yeah.
but I haven't heard anything.
I
Okay, we'll
will
make sure
ask.
everybody gets response back on that.
Actually, I'm flexible enough. I'll
Yeah.
do whenever they need.
Appreciate that.
The
Yeah.
help.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be there. I told her if they need any help doing stuff prior to that. And I'm gonna be
Wear
gone
these
that
shirts
weekend.
and Volunteer, right?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
definitely.
Make sure I'm properly dressed.
Yeah, come in your best costume, yeah.
You'll start.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And those are nice t-shirts too, but
Yeah.
They
yeah.
are really nice.
So yes, so I will find out, and I will email everybody or have Jessica email everybody who's volunteered for Halloween.
All righty, so moving on to C5, receive Parks and Recreation Department updates. Guess that's gonna be you.
Right, so I will go over this pretty quickly, and then if you have questions, just let me know. Some of the projects, there's really not a whole lot of updates. But again, if you have questions, just let me know. The John Burke Nature Preserve, not really any updates to that are really substantial. They got the survey done so they can get the permit from TCEQ. So hopefully that will get wrapped up this month or early next month, and they can have that restroom building open and operating. It's there. It's just, we can't use it yet. So Hoya, that's kind of the big one right now. We are thinking that will be ready to go in early December. We have a test lighting of the sphere on Monday morning at 6:30 a.m. Barbara mentioned earlier, she drove by and saw tons of cars, tons of people working. It's very busy out there. So we see the light at the end of the tunnel. So we're excited. So just
See it Monday morning.
I know, it's a glowing light. Yeah, so we're gonna, we've got that coming along. I don't know what else to, I mean, like the conduit, like all that kind of stuff. I don't know how much you care about all that stuff. Just know that it's getting there, it's getting done. We're really excited. Everybody's working as quick as they can to get that project finished and open. And then we will have more information on the grand opening. We're kind of getting everything in place for the grand opening. And then as soon as we have the date, then we can kind of solidify all of our vendors and entertainment and all of that kind of stuff, and then get the word out to everybody. So
So when the park is up and running, it's gonna be open at night. Does it close at a certain time?
it'll be open 6 AM to 10 PM. So it'll still have regular park hours. It'll be the same hours as all of our other parks.
Okay.
It'll just be lighted at night.
Okay.
All night or?
The lights will go off, yeah, at 10. Unless we have a special event or something. And also, we're going to have some sort of music option out there. We're working with our IT department to see what we can do. So we'll have, the goal is to have like ambient noise, like nature sounds when you're out there during the day. And when we have special events, we can play music, that kind of stuff. So should be kind of fun. So we're looking at getting that taken care of too. Venue 1842, which is the event center at the historical park, that is on track and possibly a little ahead of schedule. It's coming along. They are getting kind of the walls, some of that stuff done today. So the interior portion will be next. And I know Lynette's, who's going to be the manager of the facility, she's working on all the finishes and the furniture and getting all that stuff squared away. And we've already got several rentals booked for next year. She's working on the grand opening. They are finalizing the branding. The website is up and running. So it is, well, we've originally advertised March of 2024, but if it's ahead of schedule, we'll move up the opening. So
Is that room able to be segmented? Like movable walls?
it doesn't have movable walls, but there's no, it doesn't have movable walls. I mean, there's
That might be partitions or something that could.
they don't have anything like that in there. I mean, there's like the smaller rooms for setup and for things like that, but it's not like the branch connection where you can pull the partitions over, or like this where you've got, separate rooms. So
You rent it as yours.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But there are smaller buildings out there that you can rent. They've got the church and the Dodson House, and so there's other options if people don't need the huge event center. So, but that's a good question. So
That might be something you ought to put on the website that, other options are available.
it's on there. Yeah, it's all on there because you can rent the venue itself and have the Dodson House too. So there's different options to add on. So yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's on there. Okay, the branch connection renovation. We had our bid open, we went out to bid, we had our bid opening earlier this month. We only got one bid and it was over budget, and the contractor didn't have favorable reviews. And so we're going out to we're rebidding.
Are you seeing that a lot, contractors?
I don't have a lot of experience with that.
Okay.
So we don't want to take a chance and we're gonna rebid.
It's for the bus.
Yeah, and so it's gonna reopen tomorrow, and then our next bid opening is November 16th. And because we're using ARPA funds for this project, we have to have it under contract by December 31st. So our goal is we have the bid opening in the middle of November, get everything squared away, get the process, get it vetted, find our contractor, and then take that to council in December for approval. And then we'll be able to start. So we're kind of up against a timeline. So it's gonna be moving quickly once we get the bids back and everything.
How have you been getting it out to the contractor community?
We have to advertise it. So it's on a site called Civcast, and then we have to do a couple, bye Linda. We have to do a couple ads in the Dallas Morning News. So and people who are in that world, they look for that kind of stuff.
I'm in that world and I'm on the engineering side, but there's lots of issues with contractors being overworked. And so if they don't see small things, they're not bidding a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's out there. So it'll be on Civcast at midnight tonight.
Okay. I'll see if I can.
Yeah.
Some of the contractor
Yeah.
boards.
So we're looking forward to seeing what comes back and hoping that we get some bids that are with better, at least some choices, if nothing else. So stay tuned. Mike, our deputy city manager, former Parks and Rec director, he's going to be giving a update to council on Tuesday during study session, just basically what I told you. So he's going to be giving that update to council with a brief presentation on Tuesday. So if you're interested, you can watch it online or you can be there in person. And that is where we are with the branch connection. Mercer Park on the west side, that's really on hold. There's really no updates on that. Waiting on the developer to finish to provide a timeline. They've done a lot of grading out there and that they're pushing the dirt, it's moving around. So hopefully that's a good sign and some progress will get made. And
They buried some pipe and
so things are happening.
stuff is going on.
Good, good. So once there's further progress, then we'll be able to kind of move in. And honestly, with all the other projects we have going on, we're not really quite ready to take on another one at the moment. So we're saying late 2024. So maybe this time next year or a little later. Squire, again, that's on hold. No new updates on that. It's still on our radar. It's something we're excited about and we want to do. It's just with the bandwidth that we have right now, it's just not something we can dive into at the moment. And
Right, now that I know where Star Park, it's a needle park.
yes,
Where, they're gonna put a splash pad?
mhm,
Where's that?
that's the plan.
Maybe small.
They're gonna kind of reimagine that entire area.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, so they're new playground equipment, new court, splash pad. So what you see out there, it's not like we're just gonna put in a splash pad with the existing, it's gonna look different. So, we had some renderings, they were not great, and so we're not really putting those out there. So, once we're farther along in that process, we can share information on that. The Aquatic Center will be closed the week of Thanksgiving for some repairs and maintenance. So that's really kind of the big things that we've got going on. There's a lot of little projects too that are happening. We're putting some concrete around the pickleball court at the library. We're taking out the decomposed granite that's around that and putting in concrete. We're putting in a book drop over at the library. Because after the renovation at the library, the book drop, there isn't one really that's a drive up one. So there's going to be one over there. So that's kind of the big stuff right now that we got going on.
Drive up one.
Mhm. Yes, yeah. Yeah, that hopefully soon. And that is really about it for our project updates at the moment.
Any questions, comments?
Question, Gary's crew had taken the bridge from the
Mhm.
Orangewood parking lot to the playground out. And it's painted, it's beautiful.
Yes.
When do they anticipate getting that back in?
I want to say he said next week they'll be able to put that back in. So they got it down to its primer. They repainted it in-house and I think it's about ready to go back in.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it was repainted, it hadn't been redecked yet, but.
Yeah, they put in, they did all the wood, they repainted it, so it should be, I think they said next week.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a
Thank
good
you.
question. Yes.
All righty. C7, C6, excuse me. Review National Recreation and Park Association virtual conference information.
I don't have any updates on that yet. The conference was last week and the virtual conference is not posted online. And I emailed them asking when that will be available and I haven't heard back yet. So as soon as it's available, I will keep you posted. But Margaret went to the conference.
Jen and I both went.
So you want to share a little bit about?
Yeah, unfortunately, they have lost their track for citizens that we worked so hard to have there. We had 4 sessions every day that you could go for citizens. There were none designed for citizens anymore. So that was very disheartening because we worked really hard for many, many years to get it statewide and national. I did talk to Michael and, Lord, who was our president of the state association, and she said, yeah, this professionals just aren't interested right now in having those tracks, so.
So at NRPA, they don't have it. Did they say they don't do it? Because this is NRPA, not TRAPS. Did they say they're not doing that at TRAPS too?
Well, she said they have very little now interaction. She's not.
Yeah,
interested in it,
right.
So.
right.
It's, everybody knows you work really hard for something. When you're gone, they don't have a passion.
It goes, yeah.
And so, but that's very sad because, but we did go to a couple of round tables. We had the keynote speakers were really good. You know, talking to us about the parks and, the work that we did. But there was nothing specifically that we could really latch on to. It was all general. You know, one of them was, one of the keynote speakers was really talking mostly about the tennis association and how people work with it and, you know, what happened with it. The other one was the motivational speaker,
Mhm.
and she was good. But like I said, there weren't really any specific things board members could say, this is needed, this is what we're doing. And we used to have speakers several times when I was a speaker. I would have a professional with me, I would have the city manager one time with me. And so we really talked to what you can do. We talked about golf parks, we talked about skateboard parks that specifically board members could help to initiate. And that's not there now.
Mhm.
Anyway, it was
Sad.
interesting.
Yeah,
We did 3 days, down on the train every day and to
wow.
the convention center. So it was, just not what it used to be.
Yeah.
So I would
And I
say,
can tell you, even back then, when I would talk to the professionals, because a lot of states didn't send their board members back then. And I said, why don't you, y'all are always so good to me and you want me to do this and that and all that, why don't you? And they said, we don't want our citizens micromanaging us. So they wouldn't send them. And I don't know if that's the general feeling of the professionals now. It was spotty when I was there, you know, different states that said, you know, if you get them there and they'll come back and try and tell us everything we need to do and watching us to be sure we're doing it. And they just said, we just don't want to send them.
Yeah, that's bad.
Interesting.
We were fortunate because
Yeah,
a lot of ours, we had a lot of board members here.
yeah.
Anyway,
so I'll say the same thing I did last time, which is, you know, this is really nice, you guys, to make this available to us. But if there's like a highlighted, you know, like 30 minutes or less, you know,
Yeah.
greatest hits of the, whatever the thing is that you think would be good for, that we benefit from, then. it's-
Yes.
but I don't want to speak for everybody here, but I think it'd be, I mean, I'm just imagining like hours and hours and hours and
Oh,
hours.
no. Yeah, I wouldn't,
Yeah.
yeah, I think, because not all the sessions are going to be available, so I'll narrow it down to what, you know, Bob and I can talk about it too, what we think would be of interest to the board.
one of it that was interesting, was it was a pop-up, they had pop-up ones, we got several of those. And they just popped up in the exhibit. Of course, we went to the exhibit hall, we always find out a lot of stuff in the exhibit hall. But they had pop-ups in the exhibit hall that were no longer than 30 minutes. And Frisco had one on gardens. And they had the exact same problems that we have. Theirs isn't as old as ours, there's 2 years old, I think. But they talked about cameras and they talked about fences. And then his statement was, they had a board member who said, why are we doing that? It's a community garden. And so what if somebody takes some of our stuff? It's supposed to be us reaching out to the community. And what we're saying is, we don't want the community, period. We just want the select few. So he said, so that's where they are now, is they're not gonna put security lights up. They're not gonna put fences up. They're gonna leave it open and see what happens. And they're having some open houses. I think they have one each year that, they invited the community to come and everybody in the gardens made food and stuff and had it and invited them to come and join them. And we've done something similar to that before.
Question, you talk about gardens, because I'm learning more about these gardens. But if somebody's paying rent to grow in their garden, then the community leaders are saying it's okay for people to come in and take that?
That's where they are right now.
That's Frisco, that's not
Frisco,
us.
That's not us.
Well, no, I'm just saying gardens as a whole.
This was one
Part of their contract is 25% of what they produce. is we can harvest for Metro Crest.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so ours is very defined, is you are growing here for this organization. But we do have pilferages. I was giving an orientation the other day and a gentleman parked his car in a secluded area, walked the perimeter to avoid us, hit every fig tree. We couldn't figure out why we weren't getting any figs this year. He hit every fig tree and walked off with a grocery bag full of figs.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna have it, but to have a community leader say that's okay. And I'm just,
That's not our community leader.
Yeah.
yeah,
And there was.
yeah, that's, yeah.
Well, we're also talking to offset the pilferage of making along the perimeter somewhere, and it's still, you know, it's still stewing in our heads, of making a, basically a tended but not really tended bed with a take what you need bed. And then put some signage up that these beds are owned by people. And that the orchard is not a free for all. We've got to figure it out, because there will be people who will ignore the signage and no matter what. But basically they call it, Lakewood told me they have what they call a poor man's bed. And it's where people take care of it, but it's not going to be as well tended as other people. And it's somebody's, you know, they've put all the lettuce seed they can use in theirs and they'll go put lettuce seed over here. So it's going to be a hodgepodge. But, you know, and put it on the perimeter. So if somebody coming up needs something, it's there and available, and, you know, take what you need. Don't tap us out here.
But it was the same, there were several people that gardens, and it was the same thing with all of them, is what do we do and what's really fair? Fair to people renting. Because they're all operating pretty much the same way.
Well, and we have some very, very dedicated people who, like, there was one lady this year who she did cantaloupe, and she was nursing these babies and just pampering them because she really wanted to get these cantaloupe up to Metro Crest. That was her goal this year, was to get, and they got pilfered.
Right.
And she came in one day, she was heartbroken.
Yeah, it's emotional.
She put her soul into this. And someone who didn't understand the value of it on many, many levels came in and took it. So,
Yeah, it's an ongoing problem. It's
They said you might as well forget those, because they're gonna go, you're not.
gonna go in a hurry, yeah. They leave the squash and stuff.
Yeah.
can't grow squash bugs right now. But yeah.
All righty, anything else from the NRPA? All right, let's move on to C7, receive an update from board members on the parks, programs, events, or facilities attended in the city of Farmers Branch. Do you have any updates from something you might have attended that you want to talk about? Huh?
That's fun.
Which,
Smart card, yeah, that was a lot of fun.
What's the turnout like?
It was pretty decent. I was there for the first half of the event and everyone was having fun. There were a couple of owners who didn't let their dogs around other dogs. That was kind of weird to see.
yeah, you always get a little bit
It's
of
a dog
that.
park.
Yeah.
Anytime their dog was approached, they'd get them out of the way. There were like 2 of those, but otherwise everyone was interacting and lots of people by themselves interacting. The dogs were interacting, but the people weren't really talking. So I don't know if there's a way to get the people talking next time. They kind of stayed in their little
Yeah,
groups.
Is this a function they had?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was really
What
cute.
was it called?
Spooky Pooch.
Spooky Pooch. We do
Yeah.
quarterly events at the dog park, and there was about 500
It was
at
awesome.
this one.
Yeah,
We had about 500 people at this event.
yeah,
Mhm.
it was cool.
It's a
Yeah.
good time, yeah.
You always get a good turnout for anything to do with the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you know what you said about the interaction?
Yeah,
'Cause I-
humans weren't interacting, the dogs were.
Well, but I watch, you know, when I work out here at the gym and look out over the dog park, and it's the same way. There's some people that interact, and then there's some people and their dogs just
yeah,
Yeah.
are, or be by themselves.
yeah. Any other activities? All right, yeah, now, yeah,
Halloween,
Halloween,
yeah.
Halloween on, it's gonna be gangbusters all the way through the end
Yeah,
of the
we
year.
got Bluegrass this weekend, Halloween next weekend, and then Veterans
Veterans
Day, the weekend, 2 weeks after that. Craft Fair is also this weekend out at the Branch Connection. So there's a lot happening.
Christmas in the park.
Christmas, yeah.
Is Veterans Day going to be outside again?
No, it's here this year.
It's here.
Yeah, because the branch connection was supposed to be under renovation, and so we'd already put everything out there that it's here. So Saturday here from 10 to 1. It's free and yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
No, go ahead.
Liberty Plaza was one of my parks. And so as I'm walking around doing everything, why do we have it here instead of out there at Liberty Plaza?
Normally, we used to do it at the branch connection and then we moved it to Liberty Plaza. And it was rained out.
Oh,
Um,
there are no.
last year. Yeah, so we've tried to do it there. It was rained out. And so we had to move it last minute to the branch, back to the branch connection. This year, we were gonna try to do it at Liberty Plaza, but because of the construction on Denton Drive, we had to move it, so it's here. So once the construction's done in a few years on Denton Drive, we'll move it back.
Okay.
That's the plan.
Cause like
Yeah.
I said, it's,
Yes,
I'm kind of walking around.
yes,
Doing it, why are we having it at
Yes.
the gym, at the rec center?
we're on the same page. We want to have it there. We want to get it back. Yeah, we want to try to have it there. So, hope eventually, but once Denton Drive Live construction's done, then we'll be able to do that. So it'll be in our gym here on Saturday, the 11th from 10 to 1. And there's info on our website and on Facebook about it. So we've got a great speaker coming in. We'll have a band. We've got a lot of great stuff. So,
Was it last year that they had Elvis? Was that the event?
yes, yeah. They had Elvis this year. I forget. It's a brass group that's gonna come in and do some patriotic music. I can't remember the name of them off the top of my head, but it's gonna be great. They always do, the Branch Connection team always does a really great job with that event.
The other thing, Montgomery Park is hopping again.
Mhm.
It's the weather drop.
Yeah,
It is well used every night because I live and walk in this area and it's awesome.
yeah, oh,
Yeah, we could
good.
have built 2 more.
Mhm.
Oh, they love it. There's always music going.
Yeah.
They're having a good time playing. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
You
Yeah.
gotta think about that, cause you can add pickleball courts and still have room left over.
I think they met with somebody, about doing like several more, I don't know exactly, 6 maybe pickleball courts over there. So,
One of the nights this last week, they did put up a third volleyball net themselves.
oh, somebody brought their own.
And
That's cool.
they got a third one going
Yeah.
off to the side.
Like bringing a real basketball net to the.
Oh, it's-
to the-
yeah, it's hot.
to the gym.
Yeah, yeah, this
So-
whole complex, the skate park and dog park and Montgomery and here and in the summer, the aquatic center, it's all hopping. So we love that though. That's what we want.
All right.
Yeah. So-
Any other updates?
Actually, I'd like to hear how your presentation to the city council.
It went well. We always, are upbeat and it's always well received. And to kind of end it, I moaned and groaned a little bit about the silly templates I have to use, so. We got that barrier removed, so now I'm kind of under the gun to come up with a really wow factor on the next video. Nothing like, they say when you're in a hole, quit digging.
Now he's got a blank slate.
Fine, so now I'm gonna start working on it next month I have to do it in June, I believe. May or something, but it was well received. I mean, we have just about all the council members, I would safely say, behind us on Parks and Rec. So I think some of them we've turned because some of them didn't really realize some of the value of what we do here for the community. And it's not, I don't think they did, it's not that they were against it, it's just they had other priorities and we're starting to slowly turn that ship around where they see, I mean, like I say, next to schools, parents look for parks and recs in their neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And the more parks and recs we get, the more tear downs you're gonna get in Farmers Branch, the more the property values are gonna go up and the more nice amenities we have. So so I enjoy doing that because it really gives us a chance to show ourselves off. And and there's also a lot of other people in there other than the council. There's police and fire department and a lot of other staff from within the city. So it's always a fun time to do it. Or I enjoy doing it.
If you want any PowerPoints for the next meeting.
Yeah, I'll call you. I'm trying to set up where I get some smoke or something in there. So. Yeah, I know, it's kind of, I had to go back and rephrase. Once I retired, I don't do any of that stuff anymore and having to come back and I've had to kind of struggle with the newer PowerPoints and stuff, but I got like,
The tools are still there, they just
Or
hit 'em.
anything on.
yeah, they really did hide them. They hit them well, yeah. All right, moving on to our last item here is discuss potential agenda items for our future meetings. So one I've got, Maria, is we'll come up with the assignments for the Santa house. Anybody have something they want to bring up get on our agenda for the December or November meeting?
Well, they mentioned getting ready for visuals you can see from the national thing, so there might be discussion about it.
All right. Oh, yes, from the conference, yeah. Okay, that's a good item.
Are we gonna have, with the expectation that the audits are turned in by then, are we gonna have any type of discussion within this group of the parks?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, certainly we can. I think that would be helpful. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't over this committee, this board when the last one was done. Did y'all have a discussion about that last?
Not really, it was just kind of an update, so the city council had something to look at, but to your point, once Hoya's in, we've kind of run out of projects to talk about or to think about a year or 2 years down the road, so maybe that's, one thing you could talk about is, okay, I've been to all these parks. Do some of these need to be repurposed? You see any other activity in the neighborhood and talk to people out,
feed into the
you
10-year
talk to people out there in the neighborhood. Do you like to see something you're not seeing or do you like this park? Do you not like this park? So
Look at that somehow.
that's,
I think that's a good idea, because like one of the parks, that I did is down Webb Chapel, coming across from the cemetery. And really all it is a piece of
Mhm.
land.
yeah.
I'd say dirt, there's a little bit of grass there, but there's nothing there.
Well, that's kind of how Squire Park got on the map because they had was it a national night out? I think it was either National Night Out. I think it was National Night Out. They just they couldn't believe how many people showed up at that park.
Mhm.
And so that kind of brought their attention as, well, all these people are coming to this park. Maybe we need to do something with this park. And you might discover that in some, you might think about when you're doing your audits is maybe do them around, if it's possible, around 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening and just see who shows up out there, if anybody does. Or you may try it at noon, see if, or on weekends, do it in the morning to see if kids are showing up. So kind of vary your times just to see what happens. Cause we're the eyes and ears for the council on stuff like
Right.
this.
You could get comments from people when I was doing homework and stuff. I went at the time when I knew there'd be lots of people walking
Yeah.
around and stuff. And so I'd ask them, how are you liking the park? And is there anything you see, so you can get some feedback from them. Which really is what we want,
Right.
is what do they see? You need.
Or, put that on, like, we'll just do it like a feedback session on what we saw when we were doing our audits.
Going back to the park Steve's talking about, I don't think I've ever seen a human being on that piece of land.
You can't get to it
There's no parking. there's
unless
no-
you live back those 5 or 6 houses. You can't park on Webb Chapel. And, and there's just, just a piece
Is
of.
there even signage?
There is that, the Farmers Branch, sign,
There didn't used to be until probably the last time we did the audit.
Yeah, we put in signs at all of the parks. So yeah, some of them are just green spaces
Yeah.
or pocket parks. They're not all giant parks or playgrounds, but it's a green space and sometimes they're around businesses. So people will just go outside and sit and have lunch in the green space but it's still park property. So we have signs out there so people know that that's.
I suspect this park that I'm talking about, I forgot the name of it now, is the neighbors back in there, they probably bring their dogs over and walk their dogs over
Yeah.
in that property.
At one time, we tried to make that a Japanese garden. We looked at the design down through there.
Well, it's beautiful with all the trees.
It's
back in
gorgeous,
there.
but the parking was the problem.
Yeah.
By the time that you took up your brains,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So
Valley parking only, huh?
Yeah, that's kind of what's there.
Yeah,
We were like you, we thought, this is a park, we should be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, after a lot of research and looking and stuff, we said, it's just.
Yeah, I don't know what you would do with that.
Put some picnic benches out there, like you're saying, if they're gonna enjoy
Well,
it.
but nobody can get to it.
Can't get to it.
Well, you're saying, it's one, because of the businesses,
There's no
What's Web
business next to
Chapel?
this.
I mean, you can't park on Web Chapel.
Oh, yeah, I'm just referencing just green spaces in general,
Oh,
not
okay.
that park
Oh,
specifically.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
I'm on television here, Maria.
Yeah, no, you're good.
all righty, anything else? All righty, then do I have a motion to adjourn?
What about our David?
Dave.
I'll second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All right,
Thank you,
Yeah.
Go Rangers.
all right.
Thank you for being prompt and getting this done.
You know,
It's a baseball game.
we try to serve everybody, right?
Very much appreciated.
No.